Vice's documentary series Dark Side of the Ring has done so good for that network that it launched a whole series of Dark Side of series of docs. The 90s, football and even stand-up comedy. But nothing compares, especially for wrestling fans, to Dark Side of the Ring. The attention to detail and care that Evan Husney and Jason Eisner put forth into every episode comes across on screen brilliantly. It also showcases how much they love the business too. Making a show like this will always have fun backstage stories, as well as revealing things about our favourite wrestlers we might not have known before. Welcome to Honor Wrestling Club, and in today's video we'll be counting down 8 things that fans should know about Vice's Dark Side of the Ring documentary series. However, before we crack on with the list, I'd just like to firstly welcome you to Honor Wrestling Club. It is a pleasure to have you here today. And if you enjoy what you see today, don't forget to hit that like button, share the video around with your friends, and subscribe for more awesome content. Now, without further ado, let's crack on with the list. Number 8, New Jack was not a good person. Seemingly, his heartlessness was not part of his gimmick. There are some wrestlers who are nothing like their gimmick, some who live their gimmick, and some who are completely real. They aren't a gimmick whatsoever. No matter how outrageous he seemed in the ring, it was clear that hardcore icon New Jack was anything but a gimmick. During his episode, The Life and Crimes of New Jack, the hardcore icon showed little to no remorse for his actions over the years, flat out admitting to trying to injure Vic Grimes and not caring one bit for what happened in the mass transit incident. In number 7 is that it started as a Bruiser Brody documentary. Brody's life and death is one of the most fascinating stories in all of professional wrestling. Fun fact for you though, did you know that Bruiser Brody wrestled The Undertaker in the Dead Man's first ever match? The impetus of the entire show was the desire to tell the story of Frank Goodish, known around the world and to wrestling fans as Bruiser Brody. Husney and Eisner's storytelling style hasn't deviated much from this original story, and that's not a bad thing whatsoever. One of the reenactments in this episode still happens to be one of the best in the series. It was while Brody's widow detailed the story of how he would walk into the airport with her as unassuming as unassuming can be. But after taking off his ponytail and heading for his flight to Japan, that is when he adopted the veneer of Bruiser Brody. In number 6 is that creators had to write a letter to Martha Hart. Martha Hart dips her toe back into the sport of her husband. In telling the story of Owen Hart, Evan Husney and Jason Eisner had one caveat. They weren't going to do it without the blessing and input of Dr. Martha Hart. Owen's story and tragic end is as much as Martha's story of survival through said tragedy as it was Owen's. In several interviews leading up to the anticipated episode, both the creators and Martha talked about how they were able to get Martha on board. She had sent them a series of questions that they had answered openly and honestly, and from there, Martha and her children were all on board. In number 5, we have the plane ride from hell fallout. Alcohol, wrestlers, and a plane do not make for a good combination. When Season 3 came back from summer hiatus, they came back with a vengeance. The plane ride from hell has long been discussed amongst wrestling fans as one of the wildest events in wrestling history. Sadly, most of the stories heard over the years were not exaggerated. In fact, some were much worse than originally detailed. The fallout from just this episode alone was tremendous. At the top of the list was the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. For his actions on the plane, he was blacklisted from WWE for a little while, and the animated short of this very event has been taken off the network/Peacock. While he has now been signed to AEW, the airing of his episode prevented his original deal from taking place. Tommy Dreamer coldly and callously defended Ric Flair and was suspended from several of his workplaces for a while as well. In at number 4, we have the tragedy of David Benoit. Despite everything that happened, David still wants to wrestle. The sins of the father have still kept David Benoit from achieving his own dreams of becoming a professional wrestler. Any company that would sign him would be inviting constant, unwanted and necessary comparisons and criticisms of his father, and even his heinous actions. But what's worse is that he revealed in the episode was that no one from WWE Brass ever thought of contacting him to help him navigate through his own thoughts and feelings on the events that occurred. In number 3, we have the reason that Mick Foley didn't stay on as narrator. The hardcore icon narrated the original Brody documentary. Mick Foley, like several other hardcore superstars, was inspired by Bruiser Brody. The lovable Mick Foley is one of the biggest champions of the wrestling business you'll ever find. While Chris Jericho serves as narrator for the series, the Hardcore Hall of Famer was the show's first narrator. He narrated the Bruiser Brody story and continues to make appearances on the show to chat about various topics. But he had known, or felt he knew, just how dark the series could get and opted to head down the dark path with Eisner and Husney. In number 2, we have Vice's Bankruptcy shouldn't disrupt production, as Darkside's creators are still very committed. This past May 2023, Vice Media, the cable channel that helps to produce and air the Dark Side of the Ring, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Thankfully though, wrestling fans and Darkside fans have nothing to worry about. According to Evan Husney, filming Dark Side of the Ring will be business as usual. If they have to shop around the property for future airings, they will. And in number 1 is that Season 5 is coming, as there are still plenty of Darkside stories to tell. Jacob Eisner and Evan Husney sent out tweets to fans asking them what they want to see for the new seasons. Hot topics are episodes involving Scott Hall, Vince McMahon, even Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And whilst not confirmed, in October 2023, series narrator Chris Jericho has said that more episodes are coming soon. Because of that business as usual filming mentality, wrestling fans are going to get a season 5 of Dark Side of the Ring. The show's creators routinely look at their tweets and social media for fan suggestions, so start sending them your pictures. While no episodes have been officially confirmed, there have certainly been a few pictures over the years. The pandemic and Scott Hall have been floated around several times. There's certainly enough possibilities for all sorts of episodes for the next season and hopefully many more seasons to come. So there you have it. There's our list of things that fans should know about Dark Side of the Ring. So what do you think? What do you think is the most shocking thing you learned today about Dark Side of the Ring? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Honor Wrestling Club for more videos like this in the future. And be sure to check out the previous videos we've made. Go on, you'll like them. However, until next time, I'd just like to thank you for watching, and welcome to the club. See ya!